This episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be looking at the fuel filler cap thing.
So I've managed to pick up a chest infection, and as a result I'm not going to go home and make Kate ill because, well, that's just not very nice.
So there's a few of you moaning at me for using WD-40 as a penetrant. I have a compromise. WD-40 penetrant. You're going to be very happy with me. Whilst I was at Sainsbury's, there was a Timpson's, and I got 2 more keys cut. More than I would have thought 2 keys were going to be. £20 for 1 and £30 for 2. Either way, it's cheaper than breaking the key in the bike though, isn't it?
So with a fuel filler flap, there's 6 Allen bolts around the outside of it. Wait a minute. 7 Allen bolts around the outside of it, and normally one on the inside. Now, it seems to be missing. Normally there's a screw there, else you could just take this off and, I don't know, steal someone's petrol. Now, either that WD-40 penetrant is the best penetrant ever, or these weren't very tight, or it's been off recently. Because they're very easy to take off. They're not giving me any trouble whatsoever, which is nice for a change. Oh, okay, that one's a bit stiff. But he's coming. Whew. Thought we were going to have one then. There's normally one. So once all those are removed, that just comes off. Now, I thought this would make getting the fuel out a bit easier, but I don't think it is, because the lip is still there on the inside. Oh well, we can clean this as well. While I'm at it and I've got this off, I'm going to take it apart even further. So I'm going to take out all the screws that I can see, and then we'll have a look at it. None of these screws actually look that rusty. These 2 don't look great, but the rest of them actually, well, that one's still gold. Taking the outer ring off, take those 2 screws out, and then that comes off of there. Being careful not to forget how anything goes. So latch bit towards opposite these 2 holes that screw that on. That bit comes off. Ooh, nice. Now we've got to be careful here because there's loads of little bits. So there's 5 little springs that hold the seal in place. So when you close it, it makes an airtight seal. Now that seal is on here, and it's seen better days. So as has this ring. So I'm going to clean both of these up. I probably won't replace the seal. I'll probably that might clean up. I'll try with some acetone. Acetone's great for cleaning up rubber seals like this, and brings them back to life. Take these 4 screws out as well, might as well. Note, there's a tiny little thing on there. And the final piece comes off. So that's a flat gasket seal by the looks of things. Ooh, look at these springs in here that are just about ready to get lost. I'm going to give it a nice clean up, possibly a paint, because the paint on here is all pitted. Well, I don't actually think it's paint, it's anodise. I don't know anyone that does black anodising, but I think painting it's not gonna hurt it. So underneath the gasket, there's this really cool like runway. Assuming that is for overpressure air release, just in case, I don't know, the fumes on a hot day build up the pressure in the tank, and that will stop it from exploding. That's my guess anyway. As predicted, both those springs came pinging out randomly. I saw where one of them went and it was on the windowsill. I managed to get it. However, the other one is in this room somewhere, and I did not see or hear it land, so I think we might have to count that as a loss. I'm not going to spend hours looking for it. You won't believe this. The spring that was in there, which is the first one that came up, pinged and went about 45 degrees that way and landed here. I put it back in and it pinged and went exactly the same position. If it went the same direction as that, right? I thought maybe it went the same direction that way, and I kid you not, it did. It's there. I can't believe I found that. I could have gone in the kettle or anything.
Take a little trip to Halford. Let's go have a look. Oh, that was quick. So, right, I picked up this Nitro Moors. It's rust remover. So, this is only 5 litres and it was very expensive. It was 38 quid or something like that. I got some other goodies. Got some card cleaner. A wire brush to go on my angle grinder. I'm assuming it goes on my angle grinder. Mini hook pit. What's it called? Mini hook and pick set. I've actually never had one of these and they're so handy to have, and I've been meaning to get one for years. New USB-C cable, because, well, you always need them. Okay, so I went for WD-40 white lithium grease. I've already shown you the penetrant. I also picked up some WD-40 contact cleaner. Now, you would think that WD-40 are sponsoring this video, but they're not. It's just what's on the shelf generally at Halford's, because that's my nearest go-to store for things like this. I also grabbed, as recommended by a few of you, an impact driver for getting out the stubborn nuts and bolts and screws and stuff. So the idea of this is you put it on the screw head, whack it with a hammer, and it presses down and in, and whilst it's rotating the screw out, so you've got less chance of rounding off a head. So yeah, sweet. Now this is acetone, and this is a takeaway dish, which is recycling number 5. You see that small PP at the bottom? That means polypropylene, which means it's acetone proof, safe, acetone safe. So I'm going to put some acetone in there and pop our rubber seals in and give them a good clean up. Here is a before. It's all covered in gunk. Doesn't look too bad, but you can see that rust. That rust is ingrained. I'm hoping the acetone will clean it out. This guy's not too bad. He's just a bit greasy, so I'm going to clean him up as well. This, however, I'm going to avoid with the acetone because it's not rubber. It's some sort of. It feels like some sort of cork, but it might be rubber. I'm not sure, but it doesn't look too bad. So I'm just going to leave him as he is. The last thing I want is for the acetone to eat through him. Check it out. Look at that beautiful double rainbow. Now, you might not believe me, but these are not brand new seals. These are the old ones. And, oh, they look new. This bit also comes apart even further. So you've got your actual latch. Push it in. Oh, there we go. Luckily the spring stayed in there. And there's the latch. This bit, to get this bit off, now this has got a rubber seal on it that's been riveted on. I can't change that. And that rubber seal protects the key slot from getting water in it. So I want to take this off so I can refurbish this bit, because as you can see it's all pitted. So to do that, there's this is the bit where the springs pinged out of earlier, but there is a slide pin in there. Let me get my new picks and I'll show you. I do wish tools like this came with a little case to keep them in. Now I've got to find a case to put them in. See a little pin? That is going to be a spring pin. See that? It's the same as a watch strap. Obviously you've got to be very careful that the pins don't then disappear into the abyss. I'm going to put the sink plug in just in case. Push that one in. It's going to be a case of you have to push them both in. There we go. Ready. There's one in the sink. And the other one has remained in there because the spring is obviously... Okay. So one spring does both. Look at that. How cool is that? Engineering. So we'll take them out. And add them to the bits and pieces that have taken out of this lock mechanism.
It's very complicated, isn't it? There's a lot more to it than people realise. It's obviously been designed very well. These are brass. Now the reason they'll be brass is so they can slide up and down inside the hole without as much friction as other metals. Because interesting fact about brass, it's actually self-lubricating. You don't need any coolant to machine it. It's basically got oil in it. I'll do something to refurbish this, just make it look nicer. Again, I think it's black anodized, but I might be able to get away with painting it. So now we have a box of bits that have got corrosion and rust and mingingness on them. I'm actually going to use that Nitromors stuff that I picked up from Halford's and see how well it does. It says suitable for use on any metal, so let's give it a go. Submerge it all. Remember that bubble mixture you had when you was a kid? That's what it smells like. It does say non-hazardous, but I would have thought it would have smelled a little bit chemically. Well, let's leave that for a while and come back later. I've also made a little overnight experiment. So we've got distilled malt vinegar, and in here we've got the Nitromors. According to a YouTube tutorial video, you're supposed to soak a rag, leave it on the rust until the rust is gone. So I'm going to try that method. Let's have a look. Well, it looks like the vinegar has removed quite a bit more rust. I can't see any loose rust in the Nitromors stuff, but if you look in there, all sorts of bits of rust. I'm not massively impressed with the Nitromors stuff at the minute. A lot of that hasn't come out that much cleaner. Moment of truth. No, it did nothing. What a waste of money. I started to sand this down to try and get rid of the dimples. I think I'm going to paint this. The anodize came off like quite easily, quite nicely. The rust came off of this, but also the plating as well. So I'm just filing and sanding down the parts ready for paint, because that's what I've decided I'm going to do. I'm going to paint them a nice black, just as they were, just to refurbish them. I've lost a piece, there it is. So there we go, I've got these three pieces. I've already started with this piece. I haven't started this piece yet. You can see you see all that pitting? Like, there's obviously some sort of reaction with the anodize on the metal, and it's just caused it to bubble. Now if I hit that with a file, I'll show you what that looks like afterwards. Well, it should hopefully look like this, and I'm hoping the primer is going to be thick enough to fill in the pinholes, so it will give it a nice smooth surface afterwards. If I run the file, choose a smaller one, there you go. If I run the file over there, you can see the pinholes flattening. Now if I get a bit of nice fine scratchy pad, when I say scratchy pad I mean like sandpaper, emery cloth, whatever you want to call it. I'm not expecting it to come out perfect, but I'm expecting it to look better than it currently does. It looks like the primer has filled in those pinholes nicely. I've just cleaned this part up with a brass spinny brush thing in my drill, and it's revealed a number on it, 8507. That's not the same number that's on the key, so it's obviously not that, but must mean something. We've got some paint, we've got some lacquer, looking pretty good. So now all that's left to do is to rebuild it back together. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll have a look at the finished result. Okay, so those little pins were a bit of a pain. They pinged off in that direction twice. Now I've got to put these little springs back in. Remember these guys that went missing? No. Right, we'll put them in straight with the key cover open, and then we'll pop that in, which goes over the top of them to hold them in place. Then pop those 4 little screws back in there. Just nip them up nice and tight because they've got that gasket seal that needs to be sealed. Now we can safely close that without worrying about those springs pinging out. Nice. So now we need to get this bit and put this guy back in. Like so. So we need to put the spring in there and then brush them into place. There we go. Doing. So now, super carefully, need to put on the 5 little springs. Let's not forget this little thing that goes on there, and then this plate went over the top of there like that. That goes in there. That goes in there. Then this whole thing just goes together nicely. Of course it should, but it won't because it's me. This is very difficult to line up. This is impossible. Got it, finally. I lost a spring, but hopefully I can get that back in. Yep. Pop 2 screws back in. And then final piece goes in there. And there we have it. I bought brand new stainless steel bolts. I'm really happy with the result. I think it looks great. It'll look even better on the tank. There we go. Shame about the rest of the tank, really. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't done so already, then please hit that subscribe button and I will see you next time. Cheers!